Chair now recognizes the gentleman from Kentucky, Mr. Barr, who's also chair of the Subcommittee on Financial Institutions for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me ask Mr. Holtz-Eakin this question. It seems like in the last 6 months or 8 months, the Fed was spending an inordinate amount of time scrutinizing the potential inflationary impact of tariffs. Even if tariffs would have, obviously, a one-time price increase or maybe an impact on inflation expectations, if the Fed is taking the impact of tariffs into account, shouldn't the Fed also be taking into account disinflationary fiscal policies at the same time?
Yes, they should be looking at all cost shocks, positive and negative, and their inflationary impacts. And I think the important part of that is the second piece you mentioned, the inflation expectations. You and I can understand the one-time increase in the price level. The Fed understands that. The question is, will the American public perceive it that way? If inflation expectations remain well anchored, you can go past the one-time cost shock and move forward.
I guess for those of us who think the Fed has been late in moving on easing here, the point I wanted to make is why wasn't the Fed also looking at the fiscal policies that put downward pressure on prices, such as more energy production, tax cuts that lower the cost of doing business, deregulation, which lowers the cost of business? Shouldn't those fiscal policies be assessed with whatever impact tariffs would have?
Yes, I can't speak for the Fed and exactly what they were looking at. I won't pretend to.
In August, Governor Bowman stated, quote, "In terms of risks to achieving our dual mandate, I see that upside risks to price stability have diminished as I gain even greater confidence that tariffs will not present a persistent shock to inflation," end quote. Dr. Holtz-Eakin, do you agree that tariffs present a one-time price increase as opposed to creating this inflation expectation spiral that Chairman Powell feared?
So I'll say it very carefully. I know they're a one-time price increase, and I'm not concerned. The question is, will they turn into expectations of higher inflation? And we should all hope not.
Yeah. Let me ask. Let me ask a question of Mr. Dubé. In 2023, the Federal Reserve took its eye off monitoring true risks, such as interest rate risk, and instead focused on political issues, such as climate-related financial risks leading to the failure of Silicon Valley Bank. Last Congress, we held multiple hearings and sent numerous letters on the Federal Reserve's participation in the Network of the Greening of the Financial System, or NGFS. This proved to be successful, as they've since pulled out of the NGFS, recognizing it covered a wide, quote, range of issues that are outside the board's statutory mandate, end quote. Yet some of my colleagues and political activists push for climate-related financial risks to be a core tenet of Fed actions. Mr. Dubé, how does the de facto addition of extraneous mandates risk the Fed's ability to properly act on its dual mandate?
It certainly distracts. There's no doubt about it. The Fed has enough on its plate trying to keep prices stable and achieve full employment as it is. Adding extra mandates distracts from that job. I'd like to point out again that the tools the Fed has are very blunt. They cannot achieve no one's ever shown how that would work or proven that it could work in real life. So what the Fed can do is very specific, and trying to expand it is a bad idea because it distracts and because it just isn't able to do other things based on the tools it has.
I think it's a hard argument to make that climate change plays a role in price stability or full employment. Final question, Mr. Pollack. As we discuss movement to potentially a single mandate as opposed to a dual mandate, what would be a better reform? Would it be just to scrap the dual mandate or the triple mandate and go to just a single price stability mandate, or more of a modified reform that would say price stability in the context of maximum employment?
Congressman, I suggested that the Congress should put into the act a sound money mandate in general, making clear that that's the fundamental point, and I do think that would be a good idea, because of course, as my colleague, Dr. Holtz-Eakin said, the Fed is going to think about all kinds of things at all times, but that would get the fundamental long-term issue, I think, rightly articulated.
Thank you. I yield back.